What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the German Bear Podcast. And today I want to talk about day 11 of the 2023 Chicago Bears training camp. And day 11 nonetheless was a pretty interesting day for the Chicago Bears overall. Lots of good battles that we can talk about today. And it was also a non-padded practice after the last padded practice was at Soldier Field with the Family Fest. So before we want to get into the actual practice, as usual, let's get right into it and start off with the injury update. Lots of players missed today's practice once again. A couple of those players being DeMarcus Walker, Jaquan Brisker, and Eddie Jackson, who all did not participate at all. And then we had some players on a bike like Lucas Patrick, Roshan Johnson, Tremaine Edmonds, Dylan Cole, and Terrell Smith, the rookie corner, now added to the injury update as well. They all were working on a bike but not participating in today's practice. So right now, lots of players are missing out. The defense is like half of the starters at this moment, which is obviously not perfect, but I feel like those guys will all be back within the next couple of days or at least the next couple of weeks, and all guys are dealing with minor issues according to Matt Eberflus, so I'm not worried about those guys, but obviously it would be great to hear from them a little bit more. As for the players that are actually back at practice, which is probably more interesting, Nate Davis and Jack Sanborn are both back participating for the Chicago Bears. Now, they were still pretty much limited today, but they put back on the helmet, which was great to see and great to hear. So love that news from the Chicago Bears. And then one big news as well is that Yannick Ngakoue had his first practice for the Chicago Bears. Now, as you could expect, he's a new player. He needs to get into shape a little bit, or probably he is still in shape, right? Free agents always carry their bodies pretty well, but still, he has to get in shape again. Did not practice so far during training camp, obviously not being signed. So today was his first practice back, first time in the Chicago Bears uniform and under that helmet. So love that news for Chicago. And by reports, he looked pretty good. His get-off looked really fast by some reports, which was obviously expected when you look at his tape. But great hearing from Yannick Ngakoue for the first time. As for the entire practice today, let's get into that. Starting off with the offense overall and getting through the entire practice, what happened in the correct timeline, starting off with one-on-ones. And the Bears offense started off with some miscommunications, but overall had a really solid period here. Justin Fields found DJ Moore quickly, and they continued to look really good together. Then he also spreaded the ball with a jump ball pass to Chase Claypool, who easily won that rep. So love that, right? Use a big 6'4" frame of Chase Claypool. Give him those balls, right? He can come up with those. He showed it last year against the Jets with Trevor Siemian at quarterback against Sauce Gardner. Had a great rep. And also Tyler Scott was once again mentioned, and he continues to be very impressive with his route running and just gets a lot of separation, right? But unfortunately, as the other couple of days as well, he has some drop issues and had another drop today in one-on-ones. And also EQ was mentioned, which was kind of surprising, with a good catch on a play where he was well covered, but he still made the catch, so no surprise here as well. Just a total contrast to Tyler Scott, basically, because Scott always gets open. EQ mostly is covered well because he just doesn't have that separation ability, but he makes the catches, right? That's what Tyler Scott is missing at the moment. But with that being said, let's move on to 11 on 11s with the first portion that happened today. And one interesting fact for the lineup was that Tyrique Carter was in at right guard, with obviously Nate Davis being limited today. That was expected, but still love that Tyrique Carter gets those reps, and he's a good player, right? I liked him a lot from last year's draft class, so excited what he can do over the next couple of days and also in the preseason games over the next couple of weeks. And the Bears started off that period with a bad snap by Cody Whitehair, so not great news here. Cody Whitehair had some snapping issues in the past, and today had another bad snap by reports. Don't know what the reason was for that necessarily today. I didn't see it, but for me right now, it's not a big issue yet. If it continues throughout camp and it happens in the regular season, it's obviously a huge problem. But so far, Cody Whitehair has to change positions here. So let's just give him a little more time to adjust to it, and hopefully it works out itself. But yeah, that's a thing that we have to look out for over the next weeks. As for Braxton Jones, he was mentioned as well with a good rep against a bull rush from Andrew Billings, who's obviously a guy with power, not that explosive, but he can move people, and Braxton Jones held up nicely against him, so that was a great news right there too. And then for Justin Fields, he started off great actually with finding DJ Moore for about 20-yard completion. So love the Bears getting chunk plays in. Justin Fields, DJ Moore, right, building that connection more and more and more. But actually a couple of plays later, he got picked off by Tyrique Stevenson, targeting Darnell Mooney. And first of all, I love it for Tyrique Stevenson, right? Love that he is now able to get full first team reps with Terrell Smith being out. They mostly shared reps throughout training camp so far, so he got all the attention today and made a big play, right? And what I really love about this play is that he actually got his hands on the ball and made the interception. He made the turnover, which is super important. So love that news by Tyrique Stevenson. And interceptions happen, right? It's training camp, and it's good that those interceptions are being thrown rather now than during games. But Justin Fields continues without thinking about it too much and comes back with another 20-yarder to DJ Moore afterwards. So once again, chunk plays to DJ Moore. I want to see it all day long in regular season. That basically wraps up the information I have on the first portion. Then they moved on to 7-on-7s, and during that time, the offensive line was doing one-on-ones, and finally some reports about the offensive line because there weren't a lot of them so far during training camp. Braxton Jones in one-on-ones and Rasheem Green with a couple of good reps against each other, both winning one of them, and so did Darnell Wright and Terrell Lewis. They also split those wins on those reps, so love the competition between O-line and D-line and everybody getting a share of a win or a loss, so that's great. Just iron sharpens iron, right? The famous saying, and it's working out for the Chicago Bears so far. As for the rest, as I said, during that period, they were in 7-on-7s, and Justin Fields with a very clean period today, going 3-4 on the first go, and on the second time around, he went 4-for-4, so hitting on the first time around Khalil Herbert, Darnell Mooney, and Chase Claypool for completions, and then later on the second time, had DJ Moore twice, EQ on a curl, so him once again, and Velus Jones Jr. for a first down play, which was great too, to see Velus Jones Jr. getting a couple of good plays in as a receiver, so love seeing that. And overall, we can just say that, reading between the lines, Justin Fields is continuing to spreading the ball around, getting it to different receivers, not letting the defense know where he's exactly going to go to, so that's great. Love to hear that on 7-on-7s, and it looked really good for them, as they then moved on to a 11-on-11 period for the second time, and that was the total opposite for the offense. They struggled a lot, including a deep shot from Justin Fields to Chase Claypool, which ended in an offensive pass interference call, something we haven't seen a lot during Bears camp so far. And during that period, Fields had some inaccuracies, and overall the offense had to settle for a shorter completions on that drive. Didn't get a lot of chunk plays, which I'm overall fine with, but you would still love to see those inaccuracies not happening in practice. As for the second team offense, actually, Tyler Scott started to get hot on a crossing route on play action, had really good separation on that play, and made the catch this time around, so love that improvement by him during practice. And then the offense finished off the day with a 2-minute drill, and after that bad 11-on-11 period, the offense actually bounced back, even though they started off with a strike from Justin Fields to Cole Kmet that was called an offensive pass interference again, so 2-time OPIs today. But I mean, for me, I'd rather have them now and clean it up than in a real game situation, so it's fine right now, but still kind of surprising to see 2 of them being called on the offense in one practice. But yeah, started off not that hot, but then Justin Fields started to get better, followed it up by a 15-yard completion to DJ Moore right away, bounced back, and then the Bears finished that 2-minute drive with Justin Fields hitting Tyler Scott over the middle, made the catch again, right? Tyler Scott getting better throughout the practice today, and then he also followed that up with a good throw to DJ Moore on a third down to set the Bears up for a game-winning field goal, and Cairo Santos hit the 50-yarder to win the Bears the game. So offense overall in 11-on-11s had some ups and some downs, but at the end of the day, once again, in a 2-minute drill, they performed, got the Bears into a winning situation, and Cairo Santos finished it to seal the deal. So that's great news. Offense never giving up, even though they had a bad period, always staying mentally strong and then finishing strong today's practice with getting a game-winning situation done. As for the defense, a couple of reports on them today, obviously, as well. For the defensive line, Jervin Dexter Sr. is looking really good lately. One play overpowering Dieter Eisland and later also Alex Leatherwood, so he's taking advantage of those second and third string offensive linemen, just showing his power, showing his core strength, right? That's what we want to see. Absolutely love those reports. And also Justin Jones was mentioned a couple of times today. He is really having an underrated camp, the 3 tech for the Chicago Bears, and he penetrates quickly for a likely sack in 11-on-11 11s, and then in a 2-minute drill later, he also beat Tevin Jenkins by reports badly, which was a play that was blown dead, so it didn't count, but still, Justin Jones looking really fast, quick, and powerful in drills and also in team periods so far, so love hearing that from the D-line overall, that they're getting after the quarterback. And then for the edge rushers, Dominique Robinson with a almost sack on that play where Tyrique Stevenson intercepted Justin Fields, so by some reports it could have easily been a sack, so nice seeing Dominique Robinson getting in there. And then also Travis Gibson with some good reps in one-on-ones by reports, really dominating the offensive lineman today, so good hearing something finally from Travis Gibson. Haven't heard a lot about him yet so far. As for the second team defense, there were a couple of standouts as well. Travis Bell had a great rep by reports where he beat a lineman with a quick swim move for a sack, so love hearing that from the 7th round pick, Travis Bell, so great seeing that from him. And then also Terrell Lewis beat Larry Borom a couple of times today too, so second, first team defense all getting after it, and it's looking really sharp right now for the Chicago Bears. I'm really excited for the season to come around. And then also Tyrique Stevenson, I've already mentioned it a couple of times, but he had an interception early in 11-on-11s with very tight coverage against Mooney, and like I said, I love seeing him taking advantage of a play and getting a turnover, but he didn't have a flawless practice today as well. He got beat a couple of times, but overall had pretty good coverage, was sticky, and as I said, had a great turnover today. And with that being said, overall for the practice, as I said, very up and down day for the offense. Defense looked pretty sharp for the entire day, and even though they are missing actually pretty much the half of the starters on offense, so that's a great sign for the defense. Offense, they really did great at the Family Fest. Now, today was a bit of up and down, but I feel like they're going to bounce back, and they still had a couple of positive plays in there today. So with that being said, that's the end of the episode, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. Definitely let me know in the comments down below what you think of the Bears practice 11 of 2023. Like and subscribe if you liked the video. Check out Instagram and Twitter if you want to as well. And as always, guys, bear down.